All the nuts and bolts are nailed into Trump's attempted coup in Venezuela. Pasting the narrative, Maduro must go with those frightful stickers. Dictator, tyrant, regime commandant. Trump wraps the package with a pick pawn. Juan Guaido, a self-proclaimed president without a palace or a pot to piss in, except the urinal of the Colombian embassy in Caracas. He's very presidential for a young kid whose dribble is only surpassed by his scriptwriters out of Miami and D.C.
I wonder whether you can, in English, give a message to the American people about your goals for Venezuela. What would you like the American people to know about what is happening there?
Well, I want to thank you for this interview. I want to talk to all the American people to want to help us to recover our democracy, our liberty. And I know maybe you know some Venezuelan people in your country. You know all that good people we are, and we want to reconstruction our country, our liberty.
Well, he's the president appointed by Trump. He's a democratic dictator. And liberty? For who? Venezuelans or the high rollers on Wall Street? Read Jewish finance capital writ large. You see, Guaido just announced he would open up Venezuela's national oil, PDVSA, to private oil companies like Exxon and BP, financed by Wall Street, and then stiff PetroChina and Russia's Rosneft. Bolton, who shills for the Zionist Organization of America, likes it like that.
We're in conversation with major American companies now that are either in Venezuela or, in the case of Citgo, here in the United States. I think we're trying to get to the same end result here. You know, Venezuela is one of the three countries I call the troika of tyranny. It'll make a big difference to the United States economically if we could have American oil companies really invest in and produce the oil capabilities in Venezuela.
It's outright theft. But theft does the trick for those who buy shares in big oil. Confiscation by any other name smells the same. It'll be a repeat of Libya, which, with Gaddafi gone, the people lost their national oil wealth, the largest in Africa, free medical and education grants, marriage subsidies with $50,000 for our first home, and a range of loans at 0% interest. A similar fate awaits Venezuela, where all proceeds will end up in foreign pockets. Enter Guaido's economic hitmen and architects of the White House Venezuela project, Harvard professor Ricardo Hausman, former Venezuela's economic minister, and Moises Naim, former Venezuelan trade minister, both in office prior to the late 90s election of Hugo Chavez. These guys, both Jewish, with Hausman, a shock doctrine expert, and Naim, who provides Guaido with a stylish advisory veneer, are on the team that makes regime change a diabolic affair. There's Elliot Abrams, too, Trump's pick to bring democracy to Venezuela, who, with his rule in Latin America's dirty wars, spat all over democracy, which left some 75,000 murdered in El Salvador. You will know imperialism by his trail of the dead. The devil's in the details.
Yesterday, the devil came here. Right here. Right here. And it smells of sulfur still today. This table that I am now standing in front of. Yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, from this rostrum, the President of the United States, the gentleman to whom I refer as the devil, came here, talking as if he owned the world. Truly, as the owner of the world. I think we could call a psychiatrist to analyze yesterday's statement made by the President of the United States. As the spokesman of imperialism, he came to share his nostrums to try to preserve the current pattern of domination, exploitation, and pillage of the peoples of the world.
That devil's all dressed up today with no place to go except to dominate and steal. He's wrapped in an American flag and appears in the likeness of a State Department buffoon. A nasty thing at national security and a criminal with neocon credentials inscribed in blood. The devil's headed south of the border to pillage in a way never seen before in an in-your-face coup to cripple Venezuela's economy, serve up a despised Maduro, and as Trump puffed off about Iraq to take the oil. My take? It's a botched-up coup. It's not going the way Bolton expects it to. It lacks popular backing. The army rebuffs it, and Guaido's hyped-up protests pale before the packed crowd supporting Maduro. While some may be critical of Maduro, they favor him 1,000 times more than a predatory U.S. intervention. They know what happened to Iraq, Syria, and Libya. They know the unleashed hell America can wreak. In Guaido, they offer a president without a palace, a wannabe without a vote, a diplomat without a dossier, a pilot without a plane, a captain without a troop, and an applicant without a pot to piss in except for some urinal in a hideaway embassy. Sounds like a propped-up dictator fresh out of prep school to me, whose reality show script is emailed from Washington, D.C.